Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Welcome to Turning Point with Patrice Williams.
We can be whatever we dream.
Enhance the way you think about successful entrepreneurship, empowerment, and politics to live your best life.
Fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself.
And now your host, the authentic, impactful influencer and coalition builder, Patrice Williams.
Let's go. It's Patrice Williams. We are here for a special edition of Turning Point with Patrice Williams. Yesterday, we were having some technical issues, and thank goodness we were able to reschedule our guest for today for this special edition of Turning Point. And you are I know that everyone that is watching either knows my next guest, or you're going to get to know her now. I'm going to bring her up. It is Shelia Tyson, and she is going to walk us through insurance. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for making yourself available for today. We've been promoting that you were coming to the show for 2 other shows, and because of course my phone rings as soon as I go live, and we had been promoting that you were coming. So every time we would do that, people are like, "I know Shelia. I love Shelia."
Yeah.
So we knew that we needed to reschedule you to whenever you were free, and I'm just excited to have you. And we know better than any other time. This is important information to have. It just feels so relevant today.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to properly introduce you by reading your bio before we jump in. Let's see. Here we are. Shelia L. Tyson intends to demystify the various insurance and retirement, annuities, IRAs, index universal life, and whole life products that are on the market today. She ensures that her clients are easily equipped to make an informed decision as to which products will best solve their insurance and retirement needs. Shelia especially loves educating clients on all of the noise surrounding the insurance market. She explains why some of the products advertised on TV and sent to their homes through direct mail may or may not be the right product for them. Sheila's approach to educating potential clients is simple and straightforward. She has the mindset that not everyone she meets will become her client, but at least they will walk away with being a better informed consumer. Shelia has worked in the financial services industry for over 31 years and only represents highly rated insurance companies. So her website is www.shelialtyson.com. And of course, Shelia is spelled SHELIA Tyson.com. And we are going to post her website address right now in the chat. Whew. That bio it describes you perfectly. Not only does it describe your background, but the way you go about this is to educate us all and wrap us all in information. That's just how you flow.
Yes, I try. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So,
and I love the topic of life insurance.
We know. I follow you on Facebook, and you tell us that. What did you say? You said, I'm not going to say it. Tell us what you tell us about GoFundMe.
GoFundMe is not a life insurance company, and it is not licensed by the Department of Insurance. But life insurance, what I'm trying to do and what I'm attempting to do is get the stigma out. When you say life insurance to most people, the first thing that comes to their mind is what?
Death.
Death, homegoing services. Those old hymns, Precious Lord, take my hand. Near the cross, our mind immediately only thinks of funerals. And of course, I'm trying to educate everybody that life insurance is much more than that. It's life insurance.
You know, for a minute, I thought you were going to break out a hymn and start singing.
Well, you remember what I told you about the compliance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm mindful of that. Maybe if we was in a church setting, I would do the hymn.
Yeah, I felt you. I felt like it was coming. I was. So I want to show you our interactive chat and welcome everyone to welcome our guest Shelia Tyson onto the platform. One of your fans is there in the chat, Tiffany Jones. I would say in the last year, she has mentioned like 12 months. She's mentioned your name 3 or 4 times. She'll say, "Oh, I need to talk to Miss Tyson about my policy," or "I need a new policy," or she was talking about her daughter. "I need to get a policy for my daughter." So she
My daughter too.
about you all the time. She is a fan.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And we have thank you, Lisa. Lisa says that you are here to educate us on how important life insurance is, and that is so true. Tiffany says yes, life insurance is more, and that she learned from you. So I believe that is the perfect cue up for us just asking you the basic question: what is life insurance, and how does it differ from, and I know there's life insurance and whole insurance,
Whole life.
whole
So
life.
there's different types of policies. And what hurts me more is when at the time of need, sometimes people find out that they don't have what they need.
Mm,
And so there's whole life, there's term, there's universal life. You hear all these, and I'm gonna break some of them down. There's mortgage protection, and there's limited and 2-year graded. It's very important people understand what they're buying. Final expense, we call it final expense insurance because usually people use it for burial, final expense, and a small policy, 5 to 25 or no more than 35,000. Whole life means just that, whole life, bills cash. A term policy means it's going to terminate at some point. I make no secret about that's not one of my favorite for a lot of people, especially over 50, because it's going to terminate. Now, some of the policies and some of the companies that advertise on television, people need to be very, very careful of those and the ones that come into your mail. Not that they are all bad. I just find that they bad for most of the people that I come in contact with.
okay.
And I will give example. Most of those policies, if you stop and read them real carefully, or if you stop and pause the TV, put your glasses on and get up real up close and personal, you
Mhm.
read the fine print. It usually say limited time or 2-year graded. Those are not bad policy, but they're bad for you if there's nothing really wrong with you. There are some people that maybe they are diabetic, even insulin, where I could get them a first day coverage. You always want first day coverage. Now, what does that mean? First day coverage means if I write a policy on you today, yeah, and you die tomorrow, and it's within that 2-year contestable period, the company, the insurance company, because remember they are about money now. The insurance company reserves the right to go back through your MIB, and that's the Medical Information Bureau. We all have it. I relate it to like a credit report. It has all your medical and prescription history that they can find out about it. They also reserve the right to go to the doctor to your doctor to make sure that the underwriter didn't miss anything, and that everything that was put on the application is in fact true.
Okay.
If it's true, they're going to pay your beneficiary whatever that face amount is. So that's a contestable part, first aid coverage. But now here's the problem when some of the people buy these policies because they don't want to talk to me, or before they probably didn't want me to come to their house. I assure you, I would not be coming to your house going forward. I done got used to this Zoom, new way of doing business.
Yeah.
But let's say I talk to you, interview you, and you tell me you have some health challenges or some pre-existing challenges that we recognize. I still could get you coverage.
Okay.
It's going to be a 2-year wait period. Now, what that means is you must live for 2 years. And if you don't, your beneficiary will get every dime that you put into that policy plus a decent or good interest rate. Those are better policies, but for people that have pre-existing condition. And the reason why I always tell people, don't just assume that your condition won't allow you, one, to be assurable, and number two, that you have to go into a 2-year wait period. A lot of times, it's amazing how we get people on first day coverage.
Okay. So a lot of people will go on first day coverage, but the more medical problems they have, they may have to go into a coverage that they have their policy, but their families wouldn't be able to get the benefits for 2 years.
The full face.
The
full
full
face. Now, there's some that's graded, which mean a percentage every year. They get a percentage of that policy. Like if it's a $10,000 policy, it after a certain time it'll pay 30%, $3,000 or something if the person died within the 2-year period. And that's why I think it's so important to people to find out. Don't just assume anything. And just because you talk to an agent, because I don't mind answering questions. You don't have to don't feel like you have to become my client. I will help you.
Yeah, that's what I like about you. There's no pressure in it.
No, there's no pressure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if I pressure you into coming to me, I'll probably have to pressure you all alone to stay with me. And I don't have time for that.
You said, I want to sell you a policy and I need you to pay it without me tracking you down.
Right, because I feel like if you do your part, when it's time for the insurance companies to pay up, I'm going to make sure, and they're going to pay you because you did your part.
Right.
And
right.
I don't like to see people start policies and pay for 9 months and then stop. That's why I don't believe in, as agent, we should oversell people past their budget. I listen to people. And if you tell me that all you can afford is $30 or $40, you know what, Patrice? If you tell me you can only afford $40, I'm probably going to look at $30 because I want you to stay on that, keep paying that policy, because here you could always go back and get another policy when your finances change or what, and just hope your health don't change. But even that, you still could get some type of policy, but never be oversold. You know your budget. And I tell people you have to pay, keep living. You don't want to be insurance poor. Yeah, PG&E and water and everything. So life insurance is an asset. So, but if I oversell you, it becomes a liability and a burden. And if you cancel that policy, guess what? The only one that really wins, the insurance company and maybe the agent, because nobody gonna give you that money back.
Right. Once it's canceled, that's it. That money is gone that you've put into it.
Right.
So can you give us a little bit, and this is very helpful, and I love that you broke this down, because there's so many people, they might be a diabetic. They may have some pre-existing conditions, and they're just nervous. They say, I should have gotten it when I was 20, when I was healthy, and now I'm 55, and and I'm taking blood pressure pills.
Right.
Like I'm nervous about applying now, and are they going to be? And if people are worried about, the insurance companies in their business or what have you, medical business.
Right. And I hear a lot of that, and I try to put people at ease. So sometimes people ask me, well, why do they need to know all that information? And think about it. If I was going to loan you some money, Patrice, I'm going to ask you everything about your job, how you going to get my money back. I mean, it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
You asking the insurance company to take a chance on you, because here, if you paid $100, let's say if it's $100,000 policy, and you paid $100, and in 6 months you died, you would want to know that that policy is going to pay your family, if everything checks out, $100,000. Well, think about from the insurance company point of view. They're not in the business. They're, and I said this a lot on Facebook. They're not a charitable organization.
Mm. Mm.
The insurance company is for profit. They're all about money.
Right.
So they're not gonna insure somebody that's real sick and give them a preferred rate when there should maybe been a rated.
Mm-hmm.
So what I try to do is put people at ease, know that everything is confidential, because really our world is not that big. Everybody knows somebody. So the information, the health information is confidential. It's not shared with anybody except the insurance companies. And they do that so they'll know what policy they're going to give you. But let me get back to term policies. Term policy is not good for everybody.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, and I know that there's a lot of people that I'm seeing now in their 60s and 70s, and they bought the term policy, but they did not invest the difference.
Say that again.
They bought the term policy
Mm-hmm.
20 or 30 years ago, and they was told to buy cheap and invest the difference. In theory, that is very good. But most folks that I know, or just put it like this, my family folks, they did not invest the difference. So now they, with me, 60s, 70s, 80s, they have all kinds of pre-existing. I cannot get them the $300,000 that they paid all those years on term, because now they have conditions and they're older. So the premium is way too much for most people.
Okay. Okay.
And so that's a term. Another thing I tell people about term policy too, there bills no cash. And now I know there's a lot of people out there that
I've heard that did I hear
term
wrong?
policy bills no cash.
There's some misinformation out there, ma'am.
So let me give you an example. Sometimes with people that my clients and that the ones I have had for years, they have cash buildup. And so let's say something just happened and then their money didn't come out their checking account, or they just didn't pay that month or whatever. They will pull money from that cash to keep that policy alive.
Hmm.
And then it gives me time to contact the client to see what's going on. Did they intend to do that? But when you have a term policy, there's no cash to pull from.
Hmm. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
So then insurance, when I tell people about most of your insurance, people don't realize just how powerful insurance. If you think about it on your job, most of your benefits are insurance products.
Yes.
Most of your benefits are insurance products. Now, a lot of times people call me and they get this mixed up. They say, I have insurance on my job. Yes, you do. But most jobs, when you leave, the insurance going to go away. It's a group term. If they offer it to you, it's usually so expensive that you can't afford it.
Right. Or if they offer it to you.
If they offer it to you. And so now I really promote living benefits. And a lot of people don't understand what that is. And that's most of the companies will offer you living benefits as a free rider attached to the policy. Now, that's critical, chronic, and terminal illness. Now, what that means? That means that, remember I said it's not all the time for death.
Mm-hmm.
Let's suppose I have a stroke tonight,
Okay.
and I can't do anything for a while. Well, I own those type policy too, where I'm going to be, if I had to, accelerate a portion of that policy up to the amount that the insurance company approved. That's huge. I tell people a lot of times that's huge if you have a mortgage, even if you have rent. The company and your landlord still want their money. They might sympathize with you for a month or two,
Maybe.
but maybe, but they want you to pay. Well, if you have a job, they probably won't give you your full salary. Most jobs, I don't think. So you have other option is for if you're alive.
Right.
You can use life insurance products for retirement, supplement your income. You could also use it to guarantee a lifetime income. It's so much more to life insurance than just thinking about death.
Mm. And you can only do that, you say, with whole life?
Well, no, you could do it with term also. You mean with the benefits? Oh, yes, you could do it with term. See, in my mind, if a young person called me 20, 30, maybe up to 40, because there's different dynamics, and they want a term policy, and that's all they can afford, yes, give them a term policy. I'm talking about the older people now, seasoned people, in their 60s and 70s, late 50s, and you don't have any type of other type of insurance. Understand me? You need, in my opinion, something permanent. Own something permanent.
Okay.
Because eventually, if you don't do anything, and if you're going to get a term, here's another part. I'm not going to sell you a term, and most agents won't, that's not convertible, meaning that at some point you have the option to convert that term into a whole life. Now, I have a lot of people, and a lot of folks would tell you, they come to me and they have a term policy and they've been paying it for a while. A lot of times I won't get a commission on that, and that's okay because I get it from you, Patrice, or somebody else. Somebody else is coming that really need it. What I like to tell people, you've been paying this policy for 4, 5, 6 years. Let's try to get something from the insurance company. You already gave them some money. Let's see, can they convert this policy into a whole life policy? And most time, the whole life is going to be so much more than the term. Many people can't afford it. So what I say, okay, let's ask them, you tell them how much you can afford every month, and then have the insurance company tell you how much that would buy.
Mhm.
Then starting fresh with me, you done already paid that company.
Right. Right. Okay. But you have, and I think what I'm hearing is that when you consult with people, they bring what they have so you could look at it and say, look, this is a great policy.
Sometimes, yeah, a lot of time it's a great policy.
Mhm.
Sometimes they just call me up and I have them read certain things because I know what I'm looking for.
Okay.
And I'll tell them there's nothing wrong with that policy. That's a good policy. Or I have had people, especially elderly people, call me and tell me that they thinking about canceling the policy, and they see on Facebook or they heard me in church or speaking and say I have low cost or affordable policy. And I'm like, well, tell me about the policy you have. If it turns out to be a whole life and it's just a matter of cost, and some of those policies are old. That's why I say on Facebook, if it's over 2 years old, put that policy up because it's going to be paid out. So if it's a matter of cost I'm like, well, no, we're not going to cancel that policy.
Mhm.
We're going to call them up on the telephone, and I'll identify myself as an agent, but even though I'm not that person agent,
Right.
sometimes I'm not even appointed with that company. Um, your client can't afford this premium. So we need to bring it down, and we'll do reduce an amount of the face and the premium.
Okay.
That's far better than somebody canceling and starting over with me.
Got it.
You have a 20, 30, $40,000 policy, you've been paying on it for a long time. You now can't really afford it, or your finances unchanged. And so you see me on Facebook and they say, oh, low cost burial insurance. Oh, I'm going to call Ms. Tyson to cancel this. Well, if you call me and you tell me about your policy, no, I'm going to talk you out of that.
For that.
Not in
Yeah.
your best interest.
So, and that brings up another question. So, when I was just kind of thinking about the show, and also I've seen some things that you posted before about burying, and and insurance is not a GoFundMe. Um, no, GoFundMe is not the same as an insurance policy. That's what you say, and
Mm.
it made me think. I said, I wonder how many people do we need to have a conversation about burial insurance? Because I know when my parents passed away, they had both. They had, well, I think they were a bit of control freaks. They wanted to make sure that they were buried at that place. They had everything picked out. They had everything set up. There was no question about it. And they had, they had. Now as I'm thinking about it, did they have yeah, I think they had burial insurance because
They
everything was
probably had pre-need. So let
pre.
me pre-need. Pre-need usually is sold through the funeral home
Yeah.
when they pick out and everything. And that's good sometimes for people that's much older and can't get insurance. And that's used to be really, 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 really popular. I'm fine. But when we say burial insurance, I want to be real clear that everybody understand it's life insurance. It's life insurance. I think I said it before. We call it burial, or at least I do. I call it final expense and burial insurance because that's what most people call up, and that's what they say. They want to make sure they have funeral burial insurance, and it's because of the small face amount. So in the industry, people refer to that as final expense and burial insurance, but it's life insurance.
It's life
Now
insurance.
the pre-need is usually tied to a specific funeral home, but even then, know that pre-need insurance, even though it's tied to a specific funeral home, I believe that, and you would have to check this out, but I'm pretty sure that, let's say you had a pre-need at one particular funeral home in one city, but later on you move to another city and you want that policy to go there, it's transferable.
Okay. Okay. So let's go into that because then I'm going to ask you as a teaser to everyone. We're going to ask about, COVID. If you have COVID-19, and but that's the teaser. Let's go into the chat. Hello, Danny Jefferson, Pastor Danny Jefferson. He says this is great information. Tiffany Jones says has to be a convertible term policy. She's just, I believe that's one of the things that you said.
Yes, Tiffany.
It. Okay, we have Terry Lenore, and I believe he's in the life insurance business. Life insurance is income replacement. Your need will change over the years. Is that a statement that you're in? You're in agreement with?
Say that again. He said life insurance is a what?
Is income replacement. Your need will change over the years.
Well, your needs will change over the years. I usually say, in my case, sometimes I say it's a supplement.
Mm.
For the clients that I run into, it usually could be used as a supplement.
Mm.
But then when you get into income, and I'm not sure exactly what it means, but probably when you say life insurance, a lot of time when I say lifetime income, there's a different type of policy, but also we talk about annuities, and that's a subject for a topic for a whole new day
Okay.
because annuities are in life insurance products, and we do a lot what we call the rollovers, and we usually put people in guaranteed lifetime income.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. And I see where Terry's. You talked a little bit about this. Terry's talking about he has a product where to buy term and invest the difference, and you were talking a little bit about that earlier.
Right.
Um,
And like I said, those are not bad policy in theory. It's just that a lot of people that I come across is not good. And I think I said that in my opinion, anybody over 50 and they don't have any type policy in place, then yes, I would say that they don't need to be getting into term.
okay. So what if look, and I'm just gonna say it, the person I was about to give you a scenario. I'm gonna give you my scenario.
Okay, go ahead.
So we have different policies, and I went to get another policy years ago, and they came back and said no, and it said no, you're 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 overweight. And I was like, oh. So then we talked, and I was like, and I didn't tell you that that had happened, but I was thinking, I'm about to lose 50 pounds before I go to Sheila. I'm go back to her. And so I did, by the way. I'm a thinner me. Um, was that crazy talk, or should I have just talked to you like to make sense to kind of get your health in order before, if you can do that in a short term? Will you
Well,
have to wait and say, lady, you are too chubby. You about to go to this higher plan, lose 50 pounds and come to me, or should I have just come?
probably should have come to me. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the insurance company don't rate people up for weight and different health challenges, because they will. Because remember, I told you, if I didn't, it's worth repeating. The life insurance industry is for profit. So, but some companies are much more lenient now than what they used to be for health challenges and weight. I get a lot of people through, my clients. A lot of them are like me, a little on the meaty side, and I manage to get them through. And sometimes they rate it, and it's not as bad as some people. Listen, a lot of people sometimes say stuff like, "Oh, that's expensive. That's too much. Why is it so much?" And then I'll explain to them why it's cost that. But I tell you what's very expensive: not having life insurance. I just I just wish some of the people only could see wherever they are, their loved ones left in a panic when there's no life insurance. The widow that have to move, that didn't really want to move
Mm.
because of life insurance, or the widower. So to me, when people say it costs too much or it's too expensive, my mind go back to life insurance is love insurance.
Mm.
Because if you love your family, and I know we all do, leave $2 for them. Let them know that you was thinking about them.
Leave
Leave
the
something.
$1.
Leave something. But if you're not gonna leave that, don't leave a bill.
Don't leave a
Come
bill.
on now, you
Work.
listen, if it takes your salary and somebody else's salary just to maintain, and then you called home, what your wife gonna do?
Mm.
Or what your children? We talk a lot about mortgage protection. I say it all the time. If you have a $700,000 mortgage and your husband or the wife is the breadwinner, and they etched out. And sometimes I ask people, well, how much life insurance do you have? And they'll say 50 or 75,000. Do the math.
Mhm.
Somebody die in that household, that other person's gonna have to move.
Mm. Yeah.
That's called for planning.
Yeah. Uproot the life. Uh,
Yeah.
so let's see. So we're going to jump into the chat very shortly, and then we're going to go into to COVID um, related questions. So
Okay.
Maury Richardson, she is a best-selling author. She says GoFundMe is not a source of insurance. We have to be better prepared. And that is something you agree to, and you will give us that gem on your Facebook page every so often. You will remind us.
Well, you all probably too young to remember this, but I equate GoFundMe with back in the day in church when someone passed and they didn't have life insurance. What did they do? They would pass the basket.
Mm.
And so people will contribute to help bury someone's loved one. In my mind, that is pretty much the same thing. Now, years ago, I remember telling a particular pastor that do not ever pass a basket to me again, because I'm getting the information out, the only thing I'm going to put in that basket, that offering basket, is my business card.
I'm not even going to comment.
Because when people say they can't afford the life insurance, I usually just look at people and they have expensive tennis shoes on. Because life insurance, oh Lord, how did I forget this one? Listen, instead of parents buying little Johnny that's in the 9th grade reading at a 3rd grade level, I always say you should invest in a tutor. But here's something else. Instead of buying expensive tennis shoes, expensive cell phone, I always ask people, why these children have cell phone? They're a doctor or a lawyer or something. They on call. That's a premium right there for their college fund.
You're preaching.
It's just a matter of just educating people so we could rethink.
I know you can't see it, but as you're talking, like all of these red, y'all do it again. Flood us with hearts. As you're talking, all I see is all these hearts.
Oh, thank you. But that makes sense.
It makes plenty of sense.
If you have a small child, you should start putting away money for their college fund, because before you know it, they'll be sitting up there ready to go to college, 18, 19, 20, and they were smart. You could have been putting money aside in a fund. We have some excellent policies out there that people could invest in their child's future, as far as I'm concerned. But let me go back to this too. And I know we just talking conversational. Let me get back to some of the whole life policies that I like. I like the ones that pay the dividends.
Okay.
I like the ones that the premium remain level throughout the policy.
Okay. So it's not, okay.
Right. But your face increases over time. And
Okay.
we call those paid up additions. Now, when people come to me, there are some things, and I hope the compliance officer is not listening to me, but there are some things that's non-negotiable with me.
Okay.
Because I know in the long run. So some things I'm telling you what I'm marking down, but I'm not asking you. I'm putting it down. I'm telling you because I have to tell you. But I'm telling you, but it's not really up for discussion.
Right.
Because a lot of times I know in the long run it's going to be better for you. And one of the things is I like for the premiums to stay level, of course, but I like for the dividends to be added to the policy, and so the policy over time, the face will grow.
I like it. Okay.
And so if some people say to me, well, what if that's what made me make it non-negotiable. But what if I want them to just send me the dividend check once a year, or whatever? And I always say, well, what you gonna do with that little check? That little check could buy.
What you gonna do with the little check?
Yeah, what you gonna do with that little check? Just spend it on something, frivolous. So we're gonna put that check back into the policy.
Love it. I'm putting your phone number in the chat. Because I put up your email, your website, but you don't mind phone calls, right?
I put up my cell. I don't mind phone calls, and I also have a book me where they could go to my calendar and book themselves on my calendar.
Okay, and I believe that's off of www.shelialtyson.com.
No, it's off my Facebook page, and I think it's on my email address that I sent to Lisa. You could pull it off there.
Okay. Yep, we're gonna post that. Okay, so the reason why there's so much interest in insurance right now is we're in a pandemic. So it forces us, no matter what age we are, it forces us to think about, what if we caught this? What if our family member caught this? What if our child caught this? It really makes us look at our own our own lives and what happens to the family that we leave behind. So say say one of us has COVID right now, or we had COVID in the last year, are we insurable?
Good question. COVID-19, and we have lost so many souls, and my heart go out to all those families that have lost loved ones. If you have COVID today and you call me up, and I cannot assure you with most of the carriers that I have. Now, there's some question about guaranteed issue. That's the one where they ask no question, health question, but you have to, most of the policies start over 50. Um, but I've had people call me that have had COVID or have COVID. So if they have had COVID or come in contact or living with someone that have COVID, I cannot submit that policy until they are completely over the COVID. And that's usually up to 90 days that I cannot submit that application for consideration. But this is what I want people to bear in mind. Every day, if you know that if you don't have any life insurance, and you know that if you were to be called home tonight, the burden that would place on your family. So it's gambling. You're gambling. So why wait until something happens? Now, having said that, also bear in mind that just because they tell me I have to wait 90 days, I understand some people, COVID, what if they do so much damage to you that were a few months ago when you was healthy, you could get first day coverage and you could get up as much as you could afford. Let's say you come down with COVID and you don't have COVID, but you have some remaining effects of that illness. Then you went from being able to get first day coverage to getting modified or to you're limited.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, if you had COVID, and that's another thing, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that's been had COVID and over with, and they're afraid to call because they think they're uninsurable. When in doubt, call me. I guess that's the easiest way to say
Right.
it.
It really
When
is.
in doubt, call me. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. If I think that you should wait a little bit longer, and I'm going to ask a lot of questions, and all I tell people, just be truthful. And if you go, if I ask you if you had a certain, if I ask you, Patrice, in the last 30 days or last 2 months, did you have COVID or anybody in your family have COVID? That's not a question.
Yeah. Yes or
That's
no?
the wrong answer. When
Mm.
you go, I'm like, tell me more about it, you know. But people should call. They could call me or they could call any other agent. We have a lot of good agents out here. If you don't feel comfortable calling me, call some of these other agents. Just call somebody. Don't keep putting it off.
Well, so here's the problem. Um, and you correct me, but I'm gonna just tell you as a consumer, um, I don't know if I trust every agent.
Don't put me on the spot. The
Oh.
compliance officer, I'm sure. Uh, most people are smart. No, but seriously,
Yeah,
the agents that I know,
they're good.
they're good agents because I refer a lot of people to other agents, believe it or not, for a lot of reasons. And a lot of time if they're younger, because I'm a senior, so a lot of my market, the people that call me are seniors, over 50. And since I'm a senior, I'll take extra precaution care with the people that's in their 70s, 80s. And so when I get a lot of younger people, it's nothing for me to say, you know what, call this agent. But when I refer them, I already know those agents gonna do the right thing because I wouldn't be referring them.
It's amazing that you're a referral source.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Some people, I believe, I really believe givers get, and I tell agents this: I don't mind sharing with other agents because guess what? What's for me, the clients that's supposed to be
Mm,
my clients, they're going to be my clients, and what's for you, they're going to be your clients. So we could just work together to make sure that the community is taken care of,
mm,
and that's how I believe.
that's right. What's for you, you will have.
I would have. Now let me get on policy review.
Uh-oh.
There's a reason why I tell people.
Oh, wait,
po-
you told me, you said, look here, I'm rescheduling, but I got other things to do. And we coming off of this live. You gonna give us another 5 minutes?
I'm gonna give you another 5 minutes. Policy, policy reviews. People, it is so important when you have a policy to take it out and review it. What hurts me if a policy is presented and I get a call from the funeral home and the beneficiary been a long time ago, gone home, gone home. At that time, there's nothing the insurance agent could do. I can't just write out and say, "Oh, I know for a fact that person died," or the funeral director, they can't do anything. So I tell people, review your policy. Review it for that. Review your policy because it might need updating. When I say update, I don't mean to cancel that policy.
Okay.
I mean you might need some additional as time change. If you went from apartment to a nice home in Hidden Brooks or something like that, you might want to sit down with me or somebody and let's review what you have.
Yes.
And so that's why I say about policy review. A lot of times when people do a policy review, they find out their policy are term or accidental. Now, accidental policies, we see a lot of that. That means just that, accident. You're going to have to fall and bump your head and then die and then maybe be paid out. That's an accidental policy. And we
Okay.
have seen people that have accidental policy, death policy, and think that's a regular policy, whole life policy, or a term policy. It's not going to pay the funeral home unless you died of accident.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So, hi, Lori. Lori Phillips Cheatham says January is a great time to have your policy reviewed.
Correct.
Uh,
January is a great time to have it, but another great time to have it is any time that you know that you need it to be reviewed.
Tiffany says she needs hers updating. She said she hadn't before because she was embarrassed. That's real.
Nothing to be embarrassed for.
Is nothing to be
There's
embarrassed.
nothing to be embarrassed.
No, and that's why I didn't talk to you because I was embarrassed. I was like, they didn't told me that I'm too chubby for policy.
There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Because I'm gonna work hard to try to find a carrier that would take you at a reasonable price.
You will?
I will.
I'll be calling you. Okay, let's give your for everyone that is watching and you felt like this was great information, share, tag folk. I believe we have other life insurance agents here. And Miss Sheila says, if it's for you, if it's for her, it's for her. If it's for you, it's for you. So put your information. If you would like to reach Miss Tyson, there's her cell phone number. We've already put her her Facebook page. Just click away, make that appointment to talk to her. This has just been a great show. I believe you've helped many of us. I'm just appreciative.
Okay, great. I'm happy to be with you. And I hope I said something that would spark somebody out there that know that they know that they know that they know that if they were to be called home tonight, it will be a mess for their family members, their loved ones.
Well, I feel worried about it because we have some policies, and I don't know. Earl Hall, who keeps on calling me during my lives. We're gonna have to have Sheila look at our stuff. Because if you called home tomorrow, I don't know what's happening. So we have to get that together. I need to know what's going to happen.
You know what? I used to say when I first really started this business, of course, I think most people know I love life insurance. My mother tell you, she said you could talk about that life insurance all day enough. But sometimes I used to say to myself, sometimes you see, when I know the situation, you see the family members and they falling all out at the funeral. I'm so emotional. Sometimes I used to think, wonder are they crying because that they gonna really miss that person, or they crying because they know the financial devastation that awaits them.
Well, you ended this good because I would rather just be falling out because I lost my husband. I don't want to be falling out because I don't know how the mortgage is going to be paid.
Right.
I don't want.
Because at some point I believe that turns to anger.
Well, that's real talk.
Yeah, that's real talk. You want to leave a legacy. You don't leave bills. We need to stop leaving bills. You
Mm,
want to leave a legacy. I'm an insurance agent, and I don't expect people to do what I do because I just know the importance of life insurance and it's more than for death. But on my birthday every year, I try to buy a policy, and I shouldn't say try. I buy a policy. And as I'm getting older too, just because I'm an agent, remember what I told you, the life insurance industry is all about money. They take my money too. So as I get older, the policy, of course, go up, the premium, but I still buy a policy every year because I know that's part of the legacy, that's leaving the money. And my son-in-law, I'm sure if he's watching this, I know my son-in-law loves me. I know that, but I do want to leave it so that when if I go before them, my daughter will probably be devastated and falling all out, and I'm sure my son-in-law will be crying and my grandson. I want it to be left so that when they find out about my policies, that my son-in-law could tell my daughter, dry those eyes, because look what mama left us. And
mm.
that would be a great legacy, even outside of my life. I want to leave a decent life on record for people, but for my children, my grandchildren, I want them to be a beneficiary of my policy, my life insurance policy, to give them a jump up.
You said dry your eyes.
Dry.
If you throw that tissue,
I want to see a lot of families have some dry eyes afterwards
well, they
and
better
just
cry.
smile on their faces.
I want y'all folk better when I'm gonna leave a policy because you're gonna get me situated, but I need folk to fall out and roll around.
But
Don't.
be shouting for joy for real. Be shouting for
Mm-hmm.
joy for real. And I try when I educate and meet with people, I try to make it fun. It's not, life insurance is time out for this. We can ready to talk about life insurance. Because I know people think about death. Because if I just tell people and they say, what you do? I say life insurance. They immediately start saying, oh, I have enough life insurance. I'm not leaving nobody anything if I die. So I already know they have the wrong mindset.
Right.
So depending on how much time I have, I'll try to educate them in 30 seconds. If I see it's no use, I'll say, okay, some other agent will catch them and educate them.
Mm-hmm.
But life insurance is love insurance. If you want to prove you love me, leave me some life insurance. And I never, ever met a beneficiary that said that the check was too much or they didn't appreciate it or try to give it back to the life insurance company.
Yeah.
I never met a sad beneficiary. They were sad that they lost their loved one. But over time now they'll start showing you and I cannot tell you how many thank yous. I've been full time doing this since 2005. So unfortunately I have lost a lot of clients. And
Yeah.
that's the hard part of the job.
That's the hard
But I
part.
get consolation in knowing that I helped a lot of families too. Because
Yeah.
I've had families say, if you had not took the time to talk to us, we will be in a financial ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, thank
I hope
you.
I helped you.
I think you have. Hello, Tim Murphy. Yes, you have. You have. This has been an amazing session. I just want to thank you again. I love talking to you because you're informative, but you're funny too. So you just make me smile.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yay. Okay. So thank you. I'm going to put you in our virtual room. Don't you go away. Well, you might have to go away because I know you have a client. And I think you're going to have I think your phone is ringing. Y'all are calling her already. But let me say goodbye to everyone and I'll be right with you. Was that a good episode of Turning Point with K. Patrice Williams? I learned so much about insurance, and I have a feeling, and got to laugh too. And I have a feeling that you all feel the same way. Join us next week. We're going to be posting our lineup. I know this month we're going to be continuing the insurance conversation to talk about automobile and home insurance. We want to make sure that people are not underinsured. And we have just a great lineup of guests coming on in the next week or two. So with that, thank you for joining us for Turning Point. Have a wonderful day. Make sure that you share this episode. Because why? Sharing is caring. Okay? Take care.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Turning Point with K. Patrice Williams.
Something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And never miss a podcast or live stream by visiting our website, imkpatrice.com, or connecting through social media at IamKPatrice on all platforms.